Hello everyone, I am live. Joan and Roseanne in the chat, nice to have you here. Nice to be together again. It's always a treat. I'm still just setting up. I'm alone at home with 3 kids and I've just gotten to bed and I'm trying to sort everything out. So welcome. It is such a treat to have you here. Hi Gary. Gary's just entered the Zoom room. If anyone wants to hang out and sketch together, then come follow the link. It's in the description to join the Zoom room. And there'll be a few people there and we can talk and that'll be great. I have so much wonderful reference for us to draw from today. It's so cool. I'm really excited to share it with you. Just letting Roseanne and Shannon into the Zoom room. David Callanan, Larry Davey on Instagram has, I just discovered him this week and was like, I was wondering, what are we going to sketch during the live stream? And then I saw his amazing work and was like, just got in touch and was like, maybe we can sketch his portraits during the live stream. So I'm really happy to have these images to share with you and to work from because they're really amazing. Maybe you've seen them in my Instagram stories. I've been posting them a lot and I've been looking at them a lot. I would strongly recommend that you all spend some time checking out David's Instagram because the pictures are really moving and intimate and beautiful. So yeah, we can talk a bit about street photography throughout the session today. Kriya Pics, Joan, Hedvig, hi. Nice to see everyone in the chat. You can give me thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And I'm going to be giving away one of the sketches from today. So I've got 9 photos for us to work from. You can stay as long as you like, or you can come back and watch the replay and spend as much time as you want working on these. But I'm going to keep it to 10-minute portraits, approximately. And after, I feel like in the past month and a half, I've really enjoyed this 10-minute portrait process. And so I thought it'd be good to continue it today. And instead of watercolor, like I've been doing the past couple of live streams, I'm going to be working in ink. So let me know in the chat what you're working with. And yeah, we'll get into it. I just have a question for Zoom. Shannon's off, but would anyone be comfortable being, hey Shannon, being co-host? And if you see if it will say admit this person trying to get in, you can just let people in. Would anyone? Shannon can do that? Awesome. All right, cool. Shannon, you are now co-host in Zoom. And anyone who wants to join Zoom for the duration of this, feel free. So now for Zoom, I'm going to set my phone as a screen share. So you'll actually see what's on my workspace, what I'm working on. This way you'll be able to see the reference without having to jump back to YouTube. But I'm happy to have you on YouTube because that's great. And if you want to ask a question in the chat, any questions in the YouTube chat are always very, very welcome. You can not draw along and you can just spend the evening or afternoon lighting up the YouTube chat if you like. That's great for live streams. I'm going to be working, let me just show you my workspace here. I'm going to be working on my Hanemühle Nostalgie paper, which I love. Hi Peggy. This is a sketch I did a couple of days ago from one of David's photos. And here's a little bat with one wing that Arvid drew. Very, very good. And here is my paper. So this is A5. It's a size that I enjoy working with. And I have a bunch of different tools. Maybe a pencil, fine liner, calligraphy pen. I have ink and brushes. I dropped my pen. And I have some stick pens that maybe I'll work with as well because I saw that Uli posted something about a stick pen that he carved and I love stick pens. I have so much stuff on my desk. Here's a jar of stick pens. Look at that. I love sticks. So many nice shapes here. I'm not working with natural ink. This will be, it's a Pelican Brilliant Black. But someday soon I will do a natural ink live stream again because I love natural ink. Hello, Dawn. Peggy, is it better for me if you're in Zoom or YouTube? Zoom is for like the feeling of sitting at the table together and sketching together. It's great having you on YouTube because then it looks like people are watching the stream, which is great. And some people have like both open. So as you like, you can kind of choose the constellation which you prefer. And if there may be some actual chatting, which will happen in the Zoom space, which we can't talk to each other really. I will endeavor to read your chat comments on YouTube. But if you'd actually like to talk in real time, then Zoom is the place to be. All right. I'll just have a drink before I get into this. What are people going to be working with? Gary's having a drink too. That's good. Stay hydrated. Cheers. I don't have a specific order we're going to draw these in. I will just flick through the reference to show you what we've got, because there's so many amazing photos. Which, this is on YouTube. I'm showing the reference. So I'll show you in a moment on Zoom. But I'll just go bring up the reference. This is actually David, whose photos we're working from today. And David is out in the streets of New York today taking photos. So he's from Boston, and I really look forward to seeing the new work that he shares. I looked him up on YouTube after discovering his work, and there's some chats with him, a critique session with some amazing street photographers, and got a little bit of his background story. He's actually a barber in Boston. So a lot of the people that he photographs, he knows from the barbershop, and then they'll have a relationship through the barbershop, and then maybe step outside and take a couple of photos. And it was really interesting because I'm really fascinated to hear how he finds his subjects and what kind of relationship he has to them, what kind of connection. I think it's fascinating, and I think the whole issue or the idea for us, how do we choose who we're going to draw, is really interesting. And so it's really inspiring to see his work and to see the way he's engaging with these people, interacting with these people that he's drawing with. Photographing. And I think it's really interesting as an artist to develop I think photography is a really wonderful medium to appreciate, to look at, and also to start to train your eye. And if you know from photography yourself, the experience of like really actively looking at something to find how you want to photograph, how you want an image to look, is a really great practice, which I think complements drawing a lot. So yeah, I wish I knew the names of all these people, but I don't. But that's okay. It's great. I can see 23 people are watching now. I'd love a thumbs up. If you would like to win one of these sketches, then tell me in the chat, hey, I'd like to win one of these sketches. And somehow at the end of it, I'll go through all the people who commented that in the chat, and I'll pick a winner and I'll send it to you wherever you are in the world. All right, we'll start with this one. And just get my timer set up. Thank you all for being here. It's really awesome having you here, drawing together. Thank you for waiting as we get set up. I'm ready. I think, does everything look good in Zoom? You have a bit of a different experience in Zoom, but oh yeah, cool. So here's the reference. I hope you can see that nicely. And if in Zoom at any stage you feel like talking, feel free. If you don't want to talk, that's fine too. Thank you all for being here, and let's draw a bit and see what happens. I'll set the timer and we'll just go for it. And I would love you at any stage to ask any questions you have, and just have fun drawing. I'm going to start with the calligraphy pen, I think. Maybe have a bit of a different approach throughout the different portraits, and I'll set the timer and just go see how things turn out. It's been really cool doing so much watercolor recently, and then just on Tuesday in the Tuesday sketch session, to try a similar approach but with ink, with the ink and brush. It's really nice just to kind of incorporate a loose, watery way of inking into quick timed sketches. It's really cool. And so I thought that could be fun to integrate into the process today. Well, this is what I'm seeing on my screen here. It's much darker than what's up on YouTube. So that's interesting. My detail, maybe I can make it a little bit brighter. Can everyone on Zoom see what we're looking at? Cool. Nice to have you all here with me. Yeah, it's been really interesting, the genre of street photography. Like as I just started looking into these photos, thinking, I wonder how he comes into contact and interaction with these people, because it's something I have kind of admired and been fascinated by for a long time, from travel photography and just like the streets of New York. I think it's a really amazing Instagram account, and I've seen quite a lot of street photography on social media where people just kind of step up to strangers and ask them if they can photograph them, and often resulting in really beautiful, spontaneous, cool photo shoots. So it's really, really interesting. All right, that's pretty loose. Still got lots of time. I'm gonna get some ink on here, so everyone can follow along using whatever medium you like. And I'd love to know what you're using. Let me know in the chat on YouTube. It's cool. None of the highlights are really that bright in this. So what I'm putting down here is like my highlight tone, just as a little kind of reflection in the eye. But otherwise it's pretty dark. So I'm not a little kind of scared of doing this. Like I've done a lot of pen and ink stuff in these quick sketches, but I don't know, I feel like using a brush is really kind of intimidating. So it's a good reason to practice it and get into it. And it's such a great tool for filling big areas of shadow. Dawn, that's nice that you have missed me. It's lovely having you here in the chat watching. And thank you to Phyllis. Diogo, it is difficult to start with this one, isn't it? I was like, I don't know what order we're going to work in. I'm just like, wow, this is really hard to see. But it's awesome. So, and it's just 10 minutes. So whatever happens, it'll be okay. It's just 10 minutes. We're 4 minutes in. And I see that a few people have said in the YouTube chat that they'd like to win a sketch. So anyone who's interested in winning, just tell me that in the YouTube chat. And once this is finished, I'll go through and use a random number selector when I know how many people have entered, and someone will win it. I'll send it anywhere. As we progress into this a bit, maybe I will have the presence of mind and clarity of my decision making to explain what I'm doing a bit, but I haven't drawn today, so got to get into it. I just wondered about leaving the furry glasses white, but I don't think so. I don't know. I hope I'm not... Diogo says it's a difficult one to start with. I hope I'm not overwhelming everyone here. It's a good thing about doing a bunch of time sketches is like it doesn't really matter how the first ones are. I often find that at the end of a sketch session, I will kind of have some of my favorite results. So it's like you really warm up and work into it. I wonder... Hi Sylvia. I wonder if David might join us for a bit. I know he's out walking the streets of New York at the moment, but he seemed pretty keen about this live stream idea. Also, Shannon, Parrots, Carrots and I are starting a podcast live stream draw along chat thing where we're going to have guests. The first one will be this Thursday at 9 p.m. German time. 6.5 minutes in. So I thought it would be so interesting to talk to David about his process, and I was wondering how I could get him on stream on screen today, but since he's out in the streets taking photos, I'm kind of happy it didn't work out today, because the logistics of figuring out how to get a guest into my live stream it wasn't easy, but I think I figured it out. So in future, we'll have David on as a guest, and we can talk about street photography and his experience of having such a social job, being a barber, and how that kind of translate into his experience and creative expression through photography. I think it's going to be really cool. So I'd love to have you all watch that as well. So I'm thinking maybe, because these live streams are, the plan is to do these draw along sketch sessions every 2 weeks on Saturdays, and I'm thinking maybe the drawn together podcast live stream conversation thing, that could also be every 2 weeks on the other week. So that's pretty exciting, and something Shannon and I have been talking about doing since January, and the year is nearly over. So it's about time to start doing it. About time. And our first guest will be Tori Cherry, F. Erovia, who is currently on an artist residency in Iceland, and she's going to be joining us on Thursday, and we'll have a chat about the Iceland experience, what it's like in an artist residency program. I can't wait to chat with her. It's going to be awesome. So it's almost 9 o'clock now, for those who aren't in the same time zone. It's 10:02. So in 10 minutes from now on Thursday, we'll be doing this live stream chat draw along. It's going to be a long pose, so it's not going to be quick sketches like this. So we'll have time to talk and think and pause, and I don't know, Shannon, how long are we gonna live stream it for on Thursday? It'll be at least an hour, I reckon. We'll see how. Yeah, we did an hour with Claire. She had a deadline. Yeah. All right, we're very close to 10 minutes. If you, also throughout this stream, if you just feel like you're happy just getting started, don't feel like you need to finish. I enjoy the challenge of trying to see what I can get done in 10 minutes, but I don't want to stress you all out, or any of you. That's all up to yourselves, whether you want to feel that or not. But what you can do is get started and come back to the replay and add the finishing touches. So if you feel like you're off to a good beginning and you're not finished, feel free to just come back and rewatch this and finish up. All right, so we're over 10 minutes. That's it, number 1. Amazing furry glasses. The order that is the same order. So this is probably the most complex reference we've got for the entire thing. This is David. Actually, David's, I wonder if on, here, I might be able to show you something if we, and I'll have a look at, oh no, I cropped the image. But I suggest you all have a look at David's Instagram feed, and you'll be able to find all of the photos that we're using as reference here. There's so many cool ones, and this shot was actually taken. His reflection on the glass is just like on the 1/3 of the composition here, and there's this really like vibrant street scene feel to it. It's very cool. What's his name? It's I've got it's at Larry Davey _ on Larry LARRYDAVEY _ on Instagram. That's David's account. And oh dear, says Diogo, what happened? Whenever I'm taking a pause, like taking a breath between these portraits, feel free to ask questions, get in the chat, so tell me that you want to win one of these sketches, and one of you will. I'll probably say that between every sketch. Tanya would like the chance to win. So it's nice for me just to read the comments and see what's going on. Anyone who wants to get into the Zoom chat and anyone who wants to hit the thumbs up, that would be great. The link to Zoom is in the description below here. So fun to be here. I'm glad to have you all here. All right. So this may be a bit too much, this reference, for 10 minutes. There's so much going on. If we had the whole image, it would be even more like kind of mind-blowing. Oh, I'm leaving it. I'm not changing anything. If you got started early, if you've started sketching before me, that's very clever. Maybe you get an extra couple minutes. So it's often good if you have something like really complex and confusing, you're like, what's a reflection? What am I actually drawing? What's going on? That can also be a really great exercise to do that in a set time frame, because it really gets you making decisions quickly, and it's a really interesting process. So there's some extra time for you, Hedvig. and now I'm going to start drawing too. And for this one, maybe even just focusing on part of it. This eye obviously stands out. And I love in the overall picture of this one how it's like quite a wonderful play and interaction of complex shapes. And whenever things are like overwhelming in their complexity, it's good to just like take a breath and be like, how can I simplify this? And then start simplified, and then maybe leave it at that. Or if you feel like you'd like to add more detail and complexity, then you can kind of build into it. at one of the first live classes that I taught in the Mose in Göttingen. I set up a portrait pose and had this person sitting in a chair and everyone was watching, and then I hung this Persian carpet as a background, which just suddenly was like, just the person sitting for the portrait was information enough, and some people were kind of overwhelmed by the extra detail of the Persian carpet in the background. But just like, yeah, just simplify it, draw what you can. It's a great exercise. This is such a wonderful eye. Like just getting that eye down, and then everything else is just like potentially, icing on the cake. Oh, I do have more of this image over. That's okay. It's still the same image. It's still the same image. That's okay. You just keep looking at what you're looking at. I was just like, I've got a bit more space over here. I've just distressed Hedwig over in Zoom by revealing that there's more to the reference. So this is starting to get interesting and wild. Yeah, just a tiny little bit of ear. Just a little bit of ear. Hi, Lapis Exilis. Hello, everyone. Whoever's drawing along, if you're posting on social media, wherever you like to do such things, you can use the hashtag drawingwithdylan. And I'd love you to tag me. And especially if you do it in stories, then I can really easily share it to my stories as well. And it's nice to go through and see what people have done once we're finished. So yeah, when Shannon and I will have David on for a longer chat some Thursday in the near future. Hopefully Thursday, if that works for him, if that works for David. And then we'll be able to do a more in-depth portrait, so that'll be fun. Maybe this image again, but with more time. Maybe a different medium, who knows? All right, 4 minutes in. I just kind of, set up. I think the eye is kind of the most important bit, and I'll just get some ink down on this paper. I really like this Hanamüller Nostalgie paper because it can get, for ink, it's like it can take a bit of wetness, and I think it's just right for ink. It's nice. For watercolor, if you're trying to do layers and stuff, it will start buckling pretty quick, but for a bit of watercolor it's good too. Once you have a moment to flex your fingers and breathe, you can tell me in the chat what material, what medium you're working with. I'd love to know. There's so many interesting kind of confusing things happening in the reflection on the glass. So this one video I found with David on YouTube was from the Crit House channel, where I only watched the one video, but I presume there are more like it, where there are a couple of really well-known street photographers who critique the work of other street photographers. So it was really interesting. I just got into that, got to hear some of the background story from David, and that was really fun to listen to. Like to hear kind of the motivation and kind of the excitement and passion of anyone doing anything that they love, really. I was going to say any kind of creative work, but I guess all work that people love is potentially creative. So cool to listen to, and I really like that about the podcast format, and that's why our new show, which will be starting on Thursday, I think it's going to be really fun, just hearing from people from different disciplines and from different parts of the world and from different lives and different stories, just like hear what inspires people and makes them follow their creative passion and stuff. It's going to be really cool. So I'd love you all to come and watch our new show. 7 minutes in. This is working out. Maybe we don't need more than 10 minutes. This is a flat synthetic watercolor brush, in case anyone's interested, from Da Vinci. Thank you. I asked David if there was any photos of himself amongst all of his photos. He's like, yeah, this is actually me in the glass. I was like, oh, yeah, awesome. And then when I actually put it into the reference section of the live stream setup, I was like, well, this is intimidating, but sometimes it's good to dive into it and see what happens. All right, got another 2 minutes. Get some midtones in here. I think the great things about these as well, like the black and white, looking at things in black and white, it's already, it makes it easier to see and make decisions about values and so it's really fun to work from, especially with ink. I think with any medium, really. Like last live stream, I was like, if it's black and white, you can just use whatever color you want, which I guess you can do if it's a color as well. And he's got a few posts that I saw on Instagram where he's taken a color image but posted it black and white, and when you swipe to the next image, it shows it in color. And sometimes it's just mind-blowing to see, like, whoa, how they can have such a different effect when it's just reduced into those like essential values. Another live stream guest is a master and magician of color. I just asked today Ian Goldsmith if he'd be interested in joining our draw along chat. Drawn together is what we're going to call it. So Ian will also be a guest someday, and he's like color master, so it's be super interesting. Yeah, the whole thing, it's exciting. All right, 10 minutes. Yeah, it's a good name, isn't it? Okay, I'll just take a little breath, read the chat as I have a drink. Anyone? Oh, Diogo's using 2B pencil. Dawn is using Tombow dual tip markers. Cool. What's everyone else using? Avocado ink, excellent. Lynn in Zoom is using avocado ink. If anyone wants to jump into Zoom, the link is in the description below. And let me know in the chat what you're using. we'll move along to the next image. Is it? Yes, this one. I will gotta let all these dry somewhere. I'll flip through my results at the end, or maybe partway through, and just kind of see what's happening. Mechanical pencil, Yana, cool. Fountain pen and watercolor. Does your fountain pen have water resistant ink in it? That would be interesting. Watercolor pencil, cool. And where's everyone joining from? I know where some people are from. Some people I know you so well, and it's always nice to see you here. Anyone who wants to win one of the sketches, that's right, in the chat, tell me, I'd like to win a sketch, and maybe you will. Let's start drawing this one. I wish I knew some more about these people, but that's part of the, I guess, the beauty of this genre, portraiture in general. I think. Oh, timer, 10 minutes, let's draw. My dad is a portrait photographer, but more of, well, outside as well, but not so spontaneous, like this kind of, just kind of taking portraits on the street, like weddings and family portraits and stuff. Obviously, I'm really into portraiture as well, and it's so interesting to look at. I feel like I spend a lot of time looking at photos and looking at people and looking at reference or live reference, living, breathing reference as well. But what's been special about looking through David's work is just, I think it's been a while since I have kind of spent much time looking at one photographer's work for so long. Like as you're kind of flipping through Instagram and you see all sorts of different things, but it's really nice to do like a deep dive into someone's feed on Instagram and really look into a lot of their work. So this whole live streaming project, recently the Saturdays have all been like live 10-minute sketches, and I want to go in with a kind of light ink in the face. None of the highlights are really super white, but yes, I don't really have a clear idea of what we're gonna do every week, but this is now the third or fourth time in a row that we've focused on 10-minute sketches, which I'm really enjoying. It'd be interesting to know how people like it, or if you'd like also to do some longer poses and stuff. It's all pretty open. We can do whatever we want, or whatever I want. But I'd, as a collective, be interesting to know what people would like to focus on. So for those who don't know, every Tuesday I host a timed sketch session via Zoom, where we sketch between 30 seconds and 6 minutes. All portraits, which has been great practice for this kind of stuff. You're all welcome to join. And that has really been at the core of a lot of my work the past couple of years. Really foundational practice. Just lots of portrait sketching practice. And I love it. So the Thursday Draw Together streams will offer a chance to do some longer poses, which I think is going to be really cool. Oh no. We've got breaking art supplies in Zoom. Did you slam it down on something? It just... Oh. So it was a glass pen just broke. I've never used one. Yeah. Okay. So it's now got a broader tip. It's a scratchy, broad tipped glass pen. Okay, so it'll be scratching the paper as you draw with it as well. Yeah, no, maybe not. Just got some suggestions for how to fix a broken glass pen. Get a blowtorch and heat it up. All right, we're over 6 minutes in. Does it feel like it could be... Yeah, it's just a new kind of unexpected limitation to work with. The broken pen. Okay. Yeah, all right. Hedwig has just requested that we... hi, Mythological. That between this and the next portrait, we'll have a 36-second break so that Hedwig can go get a new pen. I think that should be doable. Mythological, nice to see you in the chat. It must be late where you are. Where's everyone watching from, actually? And just in case you have to go to bed, I know you missed out last time. If you would like to win a sketch or be in the running to win one of these sketches, just say in the chat that you would like to win, and maybe you will. Because it must be like, what is it, midnight or later. And I know you wanted to join last time, but it didn't work out. Mythological. Shannon also says hi. Shannon is in the Zoom room. So anyone who would like to join the Zoom room, you're welcome to. The link is in the description below. And people talking about their breaking art supplies. And who knows what else. What else will be discussed in the Zoom room. 8 minutes in now. This is nice. This is really different, like building up the portrait without starting with heavy line work, which I so often do. So now I've kind of been building it up, and now I'm going to do some heavy line work into it, but I'll try and keep it decent. Hope it's not too wet. Just to establish a bit more definition. I really enjoy the kind of watery, transparent, layered look at the moment. Okay, it's 1:47 a.m. in India, so amazing. Thank you for joining in at a time when I would definitely hope to be asleep. Speaking of being asleep, I just thought I've got to keep an ear out for my kids in case they wake up and need me in their sleep. When I learned that David's from Boston, I thought that was super cool because I was in Boston. I can't remember what year it was, 2011 maybe. I went over to the States for the illustration masterclass and couch surfed in Boston with dear Lingy and in a share house and got around in Boston. I rode a fixed gear bike for the first time on the streets of Boston and did all sorts of fun things there. That was fun. All right, that's it. We're going to have a 36-second break before starting the next portrait so that Hedwig can go and get a new pen. And I'll just read the chat. If anyone has a question, now would be a good time to ask. 32 people are watching. Awesome. Give me some likes because I see that 15 people have liked, but 32 people are watching. And if you're not subscribed to me yet, I would love you to subscribe. We're going to be doing these kind of live streams every 2 weeks. And beginning Thursday, we're starting a new exciting format where Shannon and I will be interviewing someone and doing a longer pose together. Interview, I don't know, is interview the right word? We'll be chatting. We'll be chatting to someone, chatting with each other and drawing together. Yeah. Tanya says, I catch Larry's glance. Thanks so much. Yeah, this one was cool. It was cool having such a weird kind of reflecty, abstract reference to work from. You made it. All right. Was that 36 seconds? Mythological, your English grammar is perfect. It's fine. I have people who come to the sketch sessions on Tuesday who a lot of them don't understand English, and it's totally cool that they just come and join and draw, and it's great. So don't worry. Oh, that's a great question. Mythological. Can you become an artist even if it takes a lot of time? Yes, of course you can, definitely. You really want to be an artist, but keep on failing. But I don't know if you've told me exactly how old you are, but I think you're still quite young, right? Definitely. It takes time. Enjoy the process, experiment, try things, draw along, learn from work that inspires you and that you enjoy. I definitely encourage you to just keep at it. And I think probably a lot of us have done a lot of drawing, and it just takes time. You just keep looking, you keep learning, keep practicing, and you can definitely be an artist. Just enjoy the process. And if you have any specific questions, ask here. Maybe people in the chat can answer as well. This one. I think this is going to be really cool. I'm excited about this one just to get straight into the brush. Adventurously going in with really dark. Yeah, such a cool reference. Oh, these are amazing. I wish David was here so we could ask him about these images. But, he doesn't have to be here. Just look at it. It's so cool. Here comes Ruth into Zoom. Anyone who wants to join Zoom, just do it. Okay, Ruth. Yeah, you're muted. That's great. Because otherwise I hear myself. If you're in Zoom and you're listening to YouTube, then it's like meeting my time traveling self. I imagine that would be a very confusing thing to happen. All right, 10 minutes with this. Such cool shadow shapes here. So I've got lots of ink on the brush for this one. Just start really kind of boldly loose. This is something I think you could dive into, like a 30-second version of this straight with a big fat brush. It's just, I think, lends itself to reducing to these shadow forms so well. So I can't, I don't know exactly which subject David was talking about in one of the videos. There'd be people that he had met a few times and develop a friendly rapport, a relationship, and eventually be like, oh, do you mind if I could take some photos? And then every time again when they would meet, it'd be like, oh, could take another photo, and then throughout the kind of ongoing developing connection to keep taking new photos. And that was really interesting to hear, that it's not always like an instant like one shot, one amazing perfect photo, but it'll be like throughout the building of a relationship to keep taking photos, and then eventually something will just be like a magical photo. And yeah, it was also interesting hearing about some photos which are just incredible after a day of really planned, like a lot of intent and looking at things and trying to really make conscious choices in taking photos. And then at the end of the day, just be like one spontaneous moment where people step out somewhere and just to capture that moment. And it's like this, I guess, being primed, being in the state to see it and capture it, but it was like totally unplanned, and then becomes this beautiful, like most rewarding kind of image of the day. It's really interesting to hear about that kind of experience as well. Yeah, it's a critique video, and he explains a bit of his process and how he knows the people, that he's a barber, and he photographs a lot of his clients. Yeah, and hearing him talk about it was like, oh, we've got to talk to this guy. It'd be so good to have him as a guest and really be able to learn about his experience, and so interesting in the way that it could possibly, be applied to our own process, or the way we, like, I think it can be an intimidating thing to approach someone, a random stranger. I think I'm getting better at it, and I've had practice, but just be like, oh, hey, I draw, could I draw you? Or, oh, I'd love to take a photo of you. I can remember when I was traveling and I would see these incredible portraits people would take from their travels and be like, how did you even take a photo of this person? Like, did you, and I remember there was a Attila in Budapest who actually owned a youth hostel, who had these amazing albums from his travels around the world. I was like, how do you get to take photos of these people? It's like, I just ask them. She's like, can I take a photo? And it's like, whoa. And I at the time, it just seemed like such a daunting intimidating prospect to just ask a stranger if you could take a photo. And so kind of learning about that experience, or it's definitely something I would like to do more of, just sketching strangers randomly on the street. I'm not on the street much these days because I have kids, so I'm just at home most of the time. But I see it in my future, doing kind of street sketching of strangers and stuff. And a couple of weeks ago when I was in Dusseldorf, on the train and just walking through a big city for the first time in a long time, I was just like, I really enjoy cities, and I enjoy the density of the people and so much going on, and for this, I think that vibe kind of comes through in this kind of street photography, like the life and the characters of the streets. And it's something I think I'd really enjoy kind of incorporating more into my sketching and getting off screen into the wild. I like this. It's not 6 minutes yet, but I'm like feeling like, this is already just such a reduced, bold, shapy sketch. It's cool. Yeah. Is it, what's his name pronounced? Daniel Luati or something? So he was posting stuff on Instagram and TikTok about sketching bad portraits on the street and having a sign that says bad portraits. And it was so cool, like just to take out the pressure of thinking, I have these people sitting in front of me and it has to be good, it has to look like them. And it's like from the get-go just saying, you can sit with me and get your bad portrait drawn. And yeah. And it seemed like it was such a wonderful opportunity to learn and practice. And anything that takes the pressure out of the practice and the learning, I think is a wonderful thing to do. And to do that in a great social way, just meeting strangers and to be like, this portrait may not be good, but that's okay. It's a really cool idea. I think this was, as I was looking through the photos, this was the first one that really jumped out at me, like, I have to do this one. This is so cool. A great thing about people's looking at people's work, particularly if you're looking for reference, like starting to get an idea and understanding of what is it exactly that you are drawn to in certain images, like what makes good reference for you. Like, I think it's a quite an individual thing and different for different people, but like having strong shapes and really there's such incredible lighting. It's nice to start to notice what is it that you're drawn to in certain images, and try to, if there's something that speaks to you that you really enjoy, to maybe make a conscious effort to integrate that thing into your work more and more. Or maybe just for a time and then maybe try something else. Oh, I love it. This is cool. I'm kind of surprised how fast this one is going for me. No pressure if you're not feeling good about it, but come back to it. Try again. I practice quick sketching a lot, and I would recommend everyone do it. Don't get stuck in the trap of comparing and feeling bad about it. If it's not that I'm saying you are, maybe everyone is feeling really great about what they're doing. But there is a potential when looking at people's work to be like, ugh. But just, I think it's something many of us know. I definitely do. But just take bits of things as kind of inspiration and mix it into your process stew and create your own thing with it. It's a fun thing to do. Oh my goodness. That's 10 minutes. I don't know. Can maybe stop the live stream now. I like this. Maybe we're not going to stop. I have a whole five more awesome references for us to work from. But this is so cool. And, big thanks to the reference. It's just like sketching from reference that the moment you see it, you're like, oh, this is so good. It's such a thankful process. I'll just take a moment to breathe. Read the comments. 10 minutes are flying. They are. Creopix would like to win a portrait. If anyone would like to win a portrait, tell me in the chat. And you might. Up to 23 likes now. 31 people watching. Maybe if we can get the likes higher than the amount of people watching, that would be fun. So everyone give it a little thumb up. Tell me in the chat if you'd like to win a sketch. Just reading a bit. That's interesting. My kids must be proud to have a dad who's a wonderful artist. I don't know. They're quite young. I don't know what they think about it, really. It's just a thing that I do. I'm glad that I'm able to expose that to my kids, to be like, this is a thing you can do. You can just really enjoy drawing and just do that a lot. I like that there's creativity in the house around my kids. Mauricio, this is not natural ink. So this is Pelican Brilliant Black ink. I will do a natural ink live stream next time. Maybe we could do that next time, because I have so many natural inks. I have a lot of all the images behind me are with natural ink, but for some reason I recently got this bottle of ink, and I was like, I'm going to use this with a brush. I am mythological. I am mythological. I am mythological. Hang on. What did I miss? Why is everyone saying I am mythological? It's a good thing to say. I am mythological. We are mythological. We are. I am a big fan of myth. This one's fun. I think I've got it in color in Zoom on my iPad. I think it's in color here too. Oh, I think I made it real with it, and I made it black and white like the others, but this one was in color. It was really nice to see. I think if I got the story right, this is the owner of a wig shop in Boston, I think. And just imagine him standing up on the entrance to his store, looking down with this little smile. I really like this image a lot. Okay, just looking. I'm confused by the chat. Hi, Barbara. Mythological has lots of accounts. Maybe. I am mythological. I just like it's a cool thing to be repeated often by seemingly different people, but maybe different people. Cool, confusing and fun. Let's draw another portrait. Okay. I'm going to start with the calligraphy pen with this one. What was that? Can you say that again? thank you so much for giving me love from many accounts. That's awesome. I was just delighted and overwhelmed by the amount of mythologicalness in the chat. So cool. Mythological is, I just love it as a username and as a state of being. Yeah. Thank you for your support, Mythological. I'm glad you enjoy our work. It's nice to have you here, lighting up the chat. What was it? Business failure. That's a nice account name. You're going to have to wait, Kat. Does anyone know the Hayao Miyazaki film Arrietty? I think that was the name of it. It's so nice. I've got a big Studio Ghibli craze with my kids at the moment. Arrietty, about tiny people living under the floor of big people's house. It's so nice. And there's a cat in there. So the cat just got me thinking about that. I think there's something a bit off in my drawing at the moment, but I'm just going to keep going, see where it takes me. It's going to end up a bit wonky, but sometimes the wonky ones can be fun. Okay. Get warm. I think I'm kind of out of proportion. I made the ear really big. It started with the ear and then I've gone around and I may be able... Oh yeah, this stuff definitely happens to me. You work your way around the head and then realize that the ear is now halfway down the neck or something. Yeah. Yeah. I think the wonky ones are often really delightful. They have like a life of their own and in a quick time sketch, it's fun just to go for it. And sometimes, I think that's sometimes what caricature artists do so beautifully, that they just kind of quickly put down some shape and then kind of build all of the face into it and somehow make it work, and it's can become really, really fun. So 5 minutes in. Thank you, Mythological, for all your account's support. Anyone else can feel free to, when you're not drawing, to to get busy in the chat on YouTube, because apparently that's really good for YouTube. Then we're like, oh wow, people are really active in this conversation, and then it gets like shown. The algorithm will then push it to people because it's like, oh, people are interested, engaged in this. So I'm wondering, I could shrink the ear if I wanted to. I could like go in and black all around, but the contrast with the light background in the photo is so nice. So maybe I'll just double up, correct some of the lines. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew is Matthew, right? Not mythological, but Matthew. Does anyone in the chat have photography accounts on Instagram which they love? Let me know if you do. What was that? Tosca photos. Tosca. Tosca photos. Cool. A friend who lived in Göttingen, who came to my live drawing sessions when I used to host them, Niels Boddingmeier, did a series of photos that looked so photoshopped, like with people hanging in the air with no head, but he did it all without editing, so people would just jump and pull interesting poses, and it was really interesting. He's done a bunch of different series of photos, and it was really interesting to see the way he was able to achieve images which looked digitally edited that were actually shot that way. It was really interesting. Cool. Less than a minute left. I don't feel now like there's a feeling where I thought it's going to be really wonky. I think just by bringing this line in a bit, that helped, like changing the shape of the head a bit from what I had initially drawn. And it's interesting, sometimes just a subtle kind of modification can have a big kind of impact. And when things are still pretty loose and sketchy, it's like a lot of it is really implied form and implied detail. And then if you can kind of somehow imply something a bit different, then it can really transform. All right, 10 minutes. Cool. How's everyone doing? And as I mentioned earlier, if anyone's feeling at 10 minutes I'm not finished, then you can just come back and rewatch the replay and keep working on it. or if you need to take a break. It's great to just go for it, like the sprint, and just go, draw for 2 hours. But if, take care of yourself. If you need to have a drink, do that. Stretch. Think about your posture. Get fresh water. This one's cool too. They're all cool. So many good reference photos. And as I said, between every sketch, if you'd like to win one of these, tell me in the chat and maybe you will. Now there are 30 people watching and 30 likes. Hooray! I guess Mythological liked like 10 times from different accounts, right? That's cool. And I'm not really totally craving external validation, but it's good for YouTube if people are liking what I'm doing, because then it will grow. And we're going to do more and more and more of these things. I was thinking I know there are a lot of podcasters and things that I like where it's like there's so much stuff happening. And it's something I definitely enjoy doing. So I want to keep building this up, and it's happening. Like Thursday, we're going to add Thursday. And then it'll be like a live stream every week. So anyone who's keen can join in for a longer session every week. And come draw with me live every week too on Tuesdays, because it's the best fun. Ruth, what is the difference in the inks? Which inks exactly? I've got this Hairlets ink from the calligraphy pen, and then I'm using Pelican ink with the brush. I have two different brushes, because one is a bit like I'm using water, mixing water into it to get a bit of variation. So the brushing is all done with the same ink. They're not different inks. Yeah, these brushes, like sometimes one will be soaked and totally black with ink, and one will be diluted, so it'll be grey. So I'll just come back to this. You see the various tones in the ink here. This is like undiluted ink with one brush, and then diluted with the other brush. Yeah, and these are flat synthetic watercolor brushes. Not sure exactly what size they are, but they're big. I like big flat brushes. Okay, next pose. Next portrait. Maybe you've already started. I'm starting now, 10 minutes. Oh no. The battery on my iPad is low. We may make it through. Otherwise I may have to unplug my light, plug in my iPad. I have two lights on, so should still be able to see what I'm doing. Love the shape of the hat on this photo. How's the avocado ink going, Lynn? Good. I love seeing that you are using avocado ink. Yeah, it does keep well. Acorn ink keeps really well as well. Not all do, but the avocado ink's a really good one. I think, from my experience, it's also quite light fast. Like I have, I've got some pieces now that I've had for years, and they still look like they did when I made them. Mythological has set the chat on fire with a thank you for your support. If you need to go to bed, I totally understand. It must be even later now than it was when you joined us. Alright, this cool big shape. I think I've made it too big, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, 4 minutes in. Hey Rosalind, thanks for joining. Yeah, 2 times in a week. Having fun with ink. So for those who don't know, ink has been my medium of choice predominantly over the past almost 10 years, I think. I love it, and I think it's a great way to learn about intentional mark making and value. So I said in the description for this, getting back to the roots with ink, because ink has just been such an important medium for me. And I feel like I don't know if it pushed my development in a certain kind of way, but it's definitely been a very kind of formative medium. And it was Rebecca Gay who suggested I start using ink, or Rebecca Leville, she also calling herself. Did a mentorship for 1.5 years with Rebecca, she also organized the illustration masterclass. And she recognized the indecisiveness in my pencil work and watercolor, and saw that it would be good for me to spend some time working in ink. And I think even if it doesn't become your main medium, it's just such a great medium to practice with. And I think it fits really nicely. A lot of what I've done the past couple of years is about kind of economy of mark making, and when it's reduced to black and white, it takes a a lot of the decision making out of the process, and you can really focus on what's essential in the image. So if you haven't done much with ink, it was totally terrifying for me in the beginning, but I would strongly recommend just trying it out, in making a mess, doing some ugly sketches, and it just has so much to teach about mark making. I just heard some weird sound, but I think it was coming from the neighbours. Not from my sleeping children, I hope. What is the time here? It's 10 o'clock here, PM. That is a good question, Diogo. Is this my main occupation? I would say it's my main, this is how I earn money, but I'd say parenting is my main occupation, I think. But yeah, this is art, painting is what I do for a living. And it has been a very non-linear path, and it's still, I get interesting things, projects going on. I'm like, oh, that's something different. Like at the moment, I'm actually working on a stage backdrop for a theatre company in the city where I live. No portraiture involved, but it's still a really fun project. And I got that one because of a kindergarten dad that one of my kids was friends with, his son, and we met outside kindergarten because we would be the same place, same time, every day, and became friends. And we're no longer at the same kindergarten, but he got in touch and asked if I'd be interested in doing this. And yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, if that was the question, yeah. But a lot of my time is spent with parenting. I have 3 kids between 4 and 9 years old. Almost at 10 minutes. This is interesting. Something, I don't know, maybe the contrast around the beard. But something I feel like is a little, I like it, but there's something I could maybe like more. I wonder what it is. So much cool stuff going on in the background. But yeah. All right, 10 minutes. This looks very warm on the screen. Diogo, I saw all your comments about the my settings on the camera last live stream. I super appreciated your insight into that. And now I've got it reversed this time, where I've got my phone on my workspace and my good camera's looking at me. That's why the background's blurry. Thank you, Rosalind. I'm glad you like it. Thank you, Diogo. It's cool. It's cool with the kids. They're nice. They're a handful. It's intense. No rest, but it's. I see Icon, our oldest. He's 9 years old. He was at a birthday party, sleepover last night. He's very social. He's often out and about, and so he's already, in a lot of ways, becoming quite independent and spending time with his friends. And here's a really nice one. Next reference. They're all really nice. So many nice pictures to draw. Mythological. What are my thoughts on reaching 1,000 subscribers? It's cool. I'm happy. I'm getting pretty close. There's this, it's like a benchmark on YouTube, reaching 1,000 subscribers to be monetized, where you can potentially start earning directly from YouTube, you need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the past year. And I think at the moment I've got like 600 watch hours, but 1,000 subscribers. So that's still quite far, but I'm super happy about almost having 1,000 subscribers. It's great. Hey, Grease, entering the Zoom room. Anyone who wants to get in on Zoom, come on over. The link is in the description below. Cool. Thank you for the support, Rosalind. I'm glad you like it. The permanent feel of ink is liberating. Love it. Never erase lines. Showing wrong lines along with the right lines feels good. It does, doesn't it? It's so cool. Switch to charcoal, Yana. Such dark images. Very cool to play with shadows. It is. Aren't these awesome? These are so cool. I'm loving these pictures. I was so looking forward to this live stream just because of the amazing reference, and I'm happy to share these all with you. If you haven't already, if you're on YouTube, you can see Larry Davey. I put his account name on the screen the whole time. Everyone go follow David, Larry Davey. Diogo, any recommendation for improving mark making? I'd say try working with ink and use bigger tools than you need. I found that has helped me so much, like using a big flat brush or a broad edge pen. Even if you're trying to do something fine, you have to work with a different way. I'm going to start the timer on this and we'll start drawing. I can talk about mark making. Maybe for the next 10 minutes or whatever. And if anyone wants to win one of these sketches, say in the chat that you'd like to win, and maybe you will. Because I'm going to give away one of these sketches. You'll get to choose and be like, you get one, I'll send it to you wherever you are in the world. Yeah, working with ink, I think definitely pushed my mark making. I'm going to start with try and get a profile on this one. Just such a nice shape, really attentively looking at the angles and the way they kind of interact and relate to each other. With ink, like if it goes a bit wrong, you could just move it over and start again. If you're starting with a profile and you're like, oh no, something's not right, you can just do here and then ink over it. No one will even know. So ink can be pretty intimidating because of its permanence and you're not able to erase. But yeah, here you see I'm doing a fairly fine line with this big fat brush, and I like having tools that can give you a variety of kind of marks. And I've done stuff like, I had a friend who was into calligraphy, a graphic designer, and he was like, make your own. This was actually before I started making my own ink. He was like, you can make your own pens and make your own brushes, and you can work big and just use a credit card and paint and just experiment with different mark making and to do stuff really boldly. Calligraphy is actually an excellent way to practice mark making. And that, like with the calligraphy pen, any broad edge tool really lends itself wonderfully to calligraphy and is really great for doing some really expressive mark making and really getting intentional with your line variation. And you can use any medium really, but ink is such a good one because once you learn pretty quickly what feels good and what you like, and if you do something which you don't like but you can't change it, it's like, oh well. It kind of forces you to learn and change things if you're not happy about them. Like obviously you can't change it in this piece, which means in the next piece maybe don't go in so heavy-handed, or maybe pay more attention to the angles before you put your marks down. And I think that's a great thing. That was something a lot with ink, and with Rebecca's recommendation, hey, start using ink, because I would be spending like a month on a piece. I spent so much time and I redo things and redo it and redo it and redo it. And and just never be content and keep seeing things that can change and changing. And so I'm so grateful to Rebecca for the suggestion, hey, work with ink, because it was like, that's the thing, you can't keep changing it. It's like, oh, you don't like that, start it again. And then, like we're doing now, within 2 hours, doing 9 portraits. And there are some I can already see that are like more than others, and just being able to gain a wealth of experience in a relatively short time, like 2 hours, and trying out different marks or starting differently, just making a lot of work basically, and experimenting and be really look at the marks that you're making and try things differently. Twist your brush, like don't just drag it down like this all the time, but twist as your whatever it is, brush, pen, whatever. There are all these different things you can do to make the marks kind of alive. That's why I like flats as opposed to round and pointed brushes. And with those, you can get variation in your line. You can like push down and expand the line. But I feel like it's not as... It's more subtle, which, you know, has its place and is beautiful as well, using round brushes, I find. But just experiment, try things out. You're welcome, Diogo. I'm glad you liked the explanation. Anyone who has any questions, feel free to ask. The Zoom room is pretty quiet today. I think it's because last time a lot of the people who were in Zoom had suggested the people that we were drawing, and there was so much to talk about, so many different faces and different stories, which is interesting. Like seeing here, we don't know who these people are, and we can imagine things, and but it's a different... We have a different kind of level of engagement with the subject as opposed to last time, where kind of everyone had suggested who we should draw. And sometimes that's just how it is. It's fine. So we're about 6 minutes in. I'm happy for you to talk to me. Definitely, because then I'm like, that's right. I want my friends in Zoom talking to me, so I look like I'm talking to myself when people are watching on YouTube. Exactly. Or everyone from YouTube comes over to Zoom and everyone's in the conversation. But it's great because I'm just like, I'm talking all the time, and it's nice to have a conversation. So definitely talk to me. Make me look like I'm talking to myself. No pressure. I'm totally happy for you to also just be here. I appreciate having you all in Zoom, even if you're not talking to me. It's great. It's all good. Okay. Thank you for not saying hello. Yeah, even if you're not saying hello, it's just nice to have you here. Okay, 7 minutes. There's some fun stuff happening here, and now I want to add some definition to the eye, mouth with the calligraphy pen. And I started with the eye and mouth, so they have like dried a bit, which is cool. And maybe I can also, in some areas I might want a kind of crispy definition to that profile line. Anyone who has not yet heard me say that on Thursday I'm going to do another live stream with Shannon, and it's going to be a long form portrait with a wonderful guest, Tori Cherry. If you've not heard that yet, now you have, and we would love you to join the live stream. So it'll be fun live, but I think it's also going to be, I don't know, how do you, Lisa, you could tell me about this if you feel like talking, but how do you make a podcast? Like, you just record audio and upload it somewhere and then it's a podcast? Because I think this new format that we'll be doing on Thursday will lend itself really nicely to audio only as well. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. All right, that's 10 minutes. Thanks for the information, Lisa. It's interesting looking up at the screen, like looking down here, I'm like not seeing things that I see when I look over here. Eventually I'd like to like have my setup so I'm not kind of like upright rather than looking down at the table. But it's so interesting just to see it from a different perspective and just be like, oh, okay, some things that are a bit inconsistent, but this one was fun. And the next one will be fun. Oh, we've only got 2 left. 2 references left. Rosalind, do I ever start with toned paper? I can hear myself talking. I was doing toned paper, I think this was April. This was watercolor, and these were all with toned paper. It was really cool. What you're seeing is a bit warmer than it actually is, I think. Oh, that's weird. It was like pink and now that's how it actually looks. That looks right. This is on toned paper. This was really fun doing these. I know with ink, I usually work onto this white paper. I really like the nostalgia paper. Something I'm familiar with and I like the feel of it. Oh, we only have 5% battery left on my iPad. So we've got 2 left to draw. Maybe we'll make it. Otherwise, a reference will be up on screen. If you're in Zoom and you're watching my desktop, you'll just have to imagine it if my reference disappears. I'll go back to YouTube. All right, then better not talk too much. Let's keep drawing. This was one of the first portraits I saw from David. I think it was a pinned portrait on Instagram, a pinned post. It's like, wow, these shadows. Oh, this is so cool. Amazing. There's something, going to Dusseldorf recently. I'm just like, I really like cities. I lived in Brussels for a while. Now I live in this tiny village, and my neighbours are like squirrels and deer, and it's quite small and beautiful here. Bye bye, Gary. Thanks for joining. And I really like this kind of village life as well, and I like being able to just go straight to the forest. But I like cities, just like so much going on. I don't know. For those of you who are in Berlin, how do you like it? It's just like where you are, or do you love it, or it's just how things are? I'm speaking to the Zoom chat. Anyone on YouTube can tell me what your relationship to cities is. Because I haven't been to Berlin for a long time, but when I was there, I was just like, wow, I love it. I know. Just maybe that's part of not spending a lot of time in big cities. When I do go to big cities, it's just like, wow, so alive, so much going on. On the mood, yeah. Chicago. I grew up, I lived in Adelaide for a few years and then moved out close to Adelaide. But Adelaide is like a 1 million inhabitant city, but it's so different to European cities. It's so spread out. And then, like when I lived in Brussels, it was also a million inhabitants, but all really close together, which is a really different feel than having it spread out. Like Adelaide is 1 million inhabitants, and most of them live in one floor family homes, like bungalows or one family homes. So there's a lot of space, it's very expansive. Whereas in Brussels there are lots of apartment buildings, and so the feeling of the density of the population is so different. And it's so interesting in like in Brussels and other big cities that I've been to. There's so much life, so much happening on the streets. And back when I lived in Brussels, I would often be out in the middle of the night, in the middle of the city, and I had instruments with me, and then would just meet strangers and start talking about music and start making music together, and it would just kind of like attract people. They would hear things and come like moths to the flame, and it was just kind of, there's so much potential for spontaneity and interesting encounters, which now it's like I might see a raccoon, and that's interesting and becomes a highlight. But those kind of which I also very much appreciate and enjoy, the kind of the connecting to a stranger and having a short, intense meeting with someone. Oh, there's something very, very cool about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then after, you're happy not to talk? Yeah. That was a comment in Zoom that having a job where you've got to talk the whole day to people, it's nice to not have to talk to people in your free time. And I think that's a big difference with Kira and myself. Kira is a yoga teacher and works at university and sees hundreds of people every week in her work context. And I see my friends on Zoom and my kids, and that's most of my social life. So then I'm hungry for it when I'm meeting random people. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's about David's work, being a barber, similar to being a hairdresser, I guess. Like always having people on the chair, being this close, like really close to people, and I guess there's a lot of conversation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have sometimes like really kind of energizing, fulfilling conversations at work? Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Oh, how good's this reference? Love it. I hear this is all, all these wonderful shadow shapes. It's so cool. And in a short space of time to be able to have a really clear hierarchy of light and shadow can be a really powerful thing. And then as you expand into having more time and like expanding the tonal range and the values and stuff, it can be really cool. But this is already like potentially just a strong high contrast thing. I have a minute and a half, so let's put some more values in. Rosalind's here, cool. Welcome. Hi. Awesome. Welcome to Zoom. If anyone is watching this not live, so I'm speaking into the future, but if you're watching this and you're enjoying it and you're like, oh wow, this is cool. When we do this live, I have a Zoom room open and people hanging out and drawing together in Zoom. So if you come to a live stream on these Saturdays, then we'll have the Zoom room open too. And every Tuesday, I host live timed sketch sessions where we draw each other via Zoom. So we don't work from photo reference on Tuesdays, we draw each other. And everyone's welcome to chat or not, and just be together and practice sketching together. And the link to that is in the description below. It's the same link which people are using to come into Zoom right now. Oh, time's almost up. My water is too inky. I can't dilute the ink in my brush enough for my liking. So I'm like erasing with a paper towel. Reaching the end of this session and my water is just full of ink. Okay, that's 10 minutes. stopping the timer. It's up to me to do it. What I like a lot in a lot of these cityscape images, like the portrait and the way that the buildings, the background can be such cool compositional elements. And there are some photos on David's account, just like, oh, the way the door of that building and that shadow, well, it's all so cool. And I guess in a cityscape, there's so much, which is what's so much fun about urban sketching, I guess, as well, that there's so much cool compositional potential within the cityscape. All right. I'm itching to add some more definition to some areas here, but time's up. So we will move on to our last image for today. See if my iPad battery holds out for another 10 minutes. And then, once that's done, I'll go back through all of the sketches that I've done. Mythological, 2 minutes away from 3 a.m. It's almost time to get up, so maybe you want to go to bed. I'll go through the chat once we finish this one, but now I feel some pressure to get this done because my battery's nearly flat. Was that a sneeze? Bless you. Yeah, it's cool, right? One in particular? My pleasure. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and you're probably working like more than full time, right? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Mhm. Yeah, it's great. I'm happy to be able to hold this sketching space for you. I always feel like it's so good. Whatever's going on, it's always good just to get together and draw. Like, and there's often so much stuff going on personally or globally, and just focusing on drawing is such a wonderful thing that we have and that we can share. if anyone has suggestions for what we could draw in future live streams, let me know. Garda Gabi last live stream suggested the 1920s mugshots, which I think is a super cool idea, which actually kind of led to this, because I was thinking, oh, maybe we'll do some of those mugshots, and then I was like in that mindset, and then stumbled upon this brilliant black and white photography and was like, oh, it doesn't have to be from the 1920s, it could be from now. Like this with the pearls, it's really fitting to that vibe. So this is, the last of 9 references that I had prepared. I actually had like 30 that I saved. I was taking screenshots in David's Instagram, and I would love to draw all of them, but I managed to narrow it down to these 9. I don't have enough space in the lower jaw, but that's all right. Just gonna have to work with it. I realize now, I started with this external, the outside shape of the head, and as I've drawn the features in, I'm like, oh, I'm running out of space. Just gonna have to deal with it. And I think I had David's work in my recommended page. What is that even called on Instagram? It's like the For You page on TikTok, where it shows you things that you might like. I think because was it Pen and Pixels? Another Instagram friend I saw liked a lot of the posts, so probably that's why it got suggested to me. Could have done with a little more chin space, but small chin puts likeness off, but the sketch still works. Got some dry brush going on here with this fur. I think that's fun sometimes with portraits, like when it's like, oh, this is a bit wonky, or this is off, or this is wrong. The likeness is lost, but it's still, like if you're paying attention to the way you're drawing the individual aspects of the face, like it still somehow works together. And even though the likeness is off, it can still be a fun portrait. And I think that's really cool. Extra wonky, excellent. Celebrate the wonkiness. Yeah. I can remember when I was younger to be like so upset and like, why doesn't it look like the person? Like, and just the intense, deep, all-encompassing frustration. And then after a while to be able to like, it doesn't look like them, but it still kind of looks like a person. That's a reason to celebrate. And then to be like, oh, it's like I've created a new person. And yeah. It's like the model or the reference is just a jumping off point. It's just the beginning, and from there you can go and make your own person. Yeah. And it's fun as you also to start to recognize what is it exactly that makes a likeness. And once you get a few thousand portraits deep into your practice, and to be like, oh, I've put that too close together, or oh, there's too much space there. That's the thing that's kind of making it look different. That's why it doesn't quite look like this person in the photo. And when you start to recognize these things, if you want to, if you have time to, or the desire, you can start to focus on those things as you're drawing and be like, oh, I usually make the chin way too small. Maybe this time I'll leave myself a bit more space. Because often there'll be a pattern, there'll be like a recurring theme to the things that we do. And once you start to recognize it, if that is what you want to do, then you can start to take it into account as you start a piece. Time is almost up. And just for my kind of internal awareness of time, I can't believe that it's already 2 hours. This has been so much fun. Thank you all for being here. I'm not going to end the stream just yet. I will flick back through the sketches just to kind of have a look what we've done. And anyone who would like to be in the running to win one of these, tell me in the YouTube chat. Say, I'd like to win a print. Not a print, they're not prints, they're originals. I will send you the original wherever you are in the world if you'd win. And I'm thinking maybe that could be a regular thing for these Saturday sessions, because it's fun to share things, and if you like it, then I'd like you to have it. You can also buy them if you don't win. You could buy one. Ask away. I did. Thursday, it will be every second Thursday. The first one will be this coming Thursday. We've gone like way over. My battery held out. It's like 11 minutes. Had a whole extra minute. So Thursdays, it'll be every second Thursday. So now it'll be alternating weeks if it all kind of plays out. There'll be so there'll be a Saturday, and the next Thursday there'll be a live stream, and it will be together with Shannon, who's here in Zoom as well. Parrots Carrots on Instagram. We are going to hang out, chat, and sketch someone, and it'll be a long pose. We'll be drawing from photo reference, but we'll have our guest live with us and talk about whatever it is that comes up. So maybe talk about what it is they do, or like Ian, who I mentioned, Ian Goldsmith is really very into color at the moment, is an amazing oil painter and is doing a lot of color studies. So I imagine we'll talk a lot about color with Ian. And I know that he skates, and he's also a parent, so maybe we talk about skateboarding and parenting, and so it could be anything. So the vision is that we have conversations that are interesting to listen to, and about all sorts of different things with all sorts of different people. And as we have these conversations, we'll also be drawing that person. So it'd be fun to listen to, it'd be fun to draw along. That is a new thing, and that will be every second week, starting this Thursday. 9. It'll be half an hour later than this started. 9 p.m. my time. I am. This is the exact same paper. I'm going to stop now. So thank you for the question. This is also Hanamura Nostalgie paper. It's a smaller block of paper. I'll get rid of my iPad now, which has served me well. Thank you, iPad. And I will get rid of the reference from the stream. And as I said before, if any of you want to spend more time with any of these, then feel free to come back and watch this again, or pause it, or take screenshots or whatever. Now I'm going to have to, we'll flick back through. I'll have to turn them all off. And we can have a look at what I've done. I would love to see what you've done. So if you're sharing on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is that you post art, oh cool. If you're in Zoom, you can pick it up and show me. That looks so cool, Hedvig. Awesome. And nice, Glees. Wow, those are so cool. Lynn, the avocado ink looks amazing. Cool. Yeah, Rosalind can see it. Oh, it's blurring. You've got this background blur thing, but I did see it. It's ink made from avocado seeds, and there's a video on my YouTube video. Yeah, on my YouTube channel, there's a video about how to make avocado seed ink. It's awesome. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Maybe next. Yeah, Lynn made her own ink. Yeah. Not really. Avocado seeds. So that there's a conversation of amazement happening in Zoom at the moment about avocado seed ink. You can make your own ink from avocado seeds, amongst many other things. Yeah, awesome. Ruth, I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link to it. Yeah, you're welcome. I think I posted it earlier this year. If you look up avocado seed ink, oh, Tanya, we're finished, but you can enter Zoom. If you look up avocado seed ink, maybe on YouTube, you will find my video. Yeah, so here I'm just kind of flipping through these. Oh, I like this one a lot. That was so cool. I love the reference. Yeah, such awesome shadow shapes. This is really nice. I like the subtle layering and the face here. That was fun. So yeah, whoever wins, someone will win. I don't know who yet, but someone will win and you'll get to choose and say, I would really like to have that. And I'll send it to you wherever you are in the world. So, there we go. That's not an actual person. I'll remove you. Gone. Okay, that's the second time I've had that happen. There was just like a not person entered the Zoom room. That's all right. I can just kick them out. So those are all my sketches from today. I would love to see yours. If you are sharing on social media, use the hashtag drawingwithdylan and tag me, and come back every second Saturday, and also join us every second Thursday, starting this Thursday. And live streaming and drawing together is fun. So Booked Out would like to win as well. Thank you. If you're on YouTube and you have not yet said that you would like to win one, and you would like to win one, or if you're in Zoom and you would like to, make sure you put it in the YouTube chat, because I'll go through, and I wish I could do it like right now, but I can't. I make a spreadsheet. There might be a quicker way to do it. Make a spreadsheet of everyone who's in there, and I use a random number selector, which is there's a website called random.org or something. And you specify a range and it will choose a number for you randomly. So this is David, Larry Davey on Instagram, who was our second pose. This is the amazing photographer. Thank you so much to David for letting us work from your work. Everyone should go check out and follow and love David on Instagram. And it's just been so nice working from these. My pleasure. Thank you all for being here. Special thanks to the people in Zoom. Thank you to all of you on YouTube as well. Yeah, thank you for being here, because hanging out and drawing together is fun. And if there are any questions, I'll read through the last bit of the chat. This is pretty much the end. If you would like to go now, thank you for watching. Bye. Make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment, blah, blah, blah. All of those things. But now I'm just going to see what have people been saying in the chat. And if anyone in Zoom wants to say anything, feel free. I'm open for questions. Cool. Mythological, thank you for being awake and watching and being here and all of that, like commenting from 100 different accounts. That was fun. On Instagram, it's LARRYDAVEY_. And his actual name is David Callanan, which is CALLINAN, I think. But I've also got him tagged in my stories on Instagram. If you go check them out, you'll see it'll link to his account. Thank you for joining, everyone. It was so nice having you all here. And we'll do this again soon. And come and listen to our chat. Me and Shannon going to be drawing and talking with Tori Cherry on Thursday. And come draw with me on Tuesday. So many opportunities to draw together. I love it. Thanks, everyone. Zoom, I will leave you on a little bit. I'm going to say end stream on YouTube. Bye. Bye, YouTube.